Welcome back as we continue my prospect rankings with the wide receiver class, but we're going to start with the tight end class first. I'm only giving you my top 5 for the tight ends and then top 10 for the receivers. I mean, at tight end, I got like 16 guys with draftable grades. So, hey, if you want to see my full prospect rankings and my current big board, go check out the Patreon. Links in the description below. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It is your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know so. Go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you appreciate, or at least like the content. Typically, I say it vice versa. It probably makes more sense that way, but it is what it is. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Let's go ahead, get into the nitty gritty. Number 5, I got Jelani Woods out of Virginia. Got an early day 3 grade on him. He looked great at the Shrine Bowl, measured with an insane 34-inch arms. I love the catch radius on this cat, and I actually love what he did at Virginia. He originally transferred from Oklahoma State in 2021. Woods just has an extraordinary frame at 6'6", 259. I love the length. He looks like a man among boys. Look at Gojo just hopping in the background there. See, Akila's chill. She doesn't like to be on, not that she doesn't like to be on camera, but she'd rather not. You know, she just kind of kicks into the background sometimes. Gojo, the dude is a camera hog, dude. This is my channel, not yours, Gojo. Regardless. He had a breakout year for Virginia, 44 receptions for almost 600 yards, 8 touchdowns. He had 11 forced missed tackles. He is physically overwhelming at the catch point. 11 of 18 on contested catches this season. And his ability to absorb contact, I'm not going to lie, and this ain't a comp, but it reminds me of Mike Allstott. Oh, man, I always butchered his last name, even when I was a kid. The former fullback for the Bucks. There we go. That's how he absorbs contact. It's wild. I'm not saying that's a comp. By no means is that a comp. I'm just saying that's the type of contact absorption we got going on right now. But dude's going to be a mismatch nightmare. I like what he can do after the catch. If we're going to like nitpick, he had a ton of he has focus drops on film. He had a 10.2% drop rate in 2021. Typically, for pass catchers, if you're past that 10%, it's worrisome. So he needs to work on those focus drops because the dude's got legit ball skills. So it's not a ball skill issue. It's a focus drop issue, which is a lot more manageable in the NFL. And he has the frame. He has the length. He has the physicality to be legit, the physical tools to be a good blocker. He just really needs to work on technique in that regard. But I really like Woods. I think, honestly, he might have the highest upside of any of the tight ends in this class. So I got him here at number 5. At number 4, I have Jalen Wademeyer out of Texas A&M. This year was, for me, a down year for him. Because dude's a smooth athlete, a very good route runner for a tight end. Just not really an explosive athlete. He just doesn't explode off the line or out of his breaks. He's never going to blow the top off a defense. His longest reception over the last 2 seasons went for 34 yards. The dude's a chain mover. The dude's a red zone type of tight end. He has a big catch radius, though the hands were an issue this season. They haven't been before. Like, over the previous, this season he had 8 drops. Over the 2 previous seasons, he had 4 altogether. So, I don't know what was up with that, but he's been a good 50-50 ball type of guy. That's why I talk about him as a red zone threat. He was 20 of 43 on contested catches. After the catch, he's actually pretty hard to bring down. He's just a physical ball carrier. He has 21 forced missed tackles on 118 career receptions. But that physicality just didn't translate in the run game this year. Some even say that he kind of phoned it in as a blocker this year, which I don't know about that, but you need to bring a bit more physicality. At 6'5", 255 as a run blocker. It's just like, can I keep you on the field for all 3 downs? Like, you really should be able to. Like I said, Wademeyer, this was a bit of a down year. I got a 4th round grade on him. And then at number 3, I got Jeremy Ruckert at Ohio State. That's right. I only got 2 tight ends with day 2 grades or higher. And I'm going to be frank, there's no first round tight end. Who would have thought? But he has the size and strength to be a very good blocker in the NFL. He has a nasty mentality when it comes to run blocking. There are times he kind of overextends and he leads with his shoulders and his head, and he is a bit of a lunger in that regard. But the dude is probably I would say the best run blocker in this class, at least among like the top 10 to 15 tight ends. I think there's a case to be made for the Oregon State tight end who made my top 15, but that's neither here or there. He's an above average athlete. I was hoping he would look a bit better at the Senior Bowl, but he ended up not even playing in the game. I don't think he made it to day 3 in the practices. I don't know if he got hurt, but he honestly deserved more volume in the passing game, so that might be an area where, well, teams might be concerned. Why were you it's like, why were you like the 5th option in the passing game? When you look at when you look at the other weapons at Ohio State, it kind of makes more sense. In like Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, you have Jackson. I'm gonna butcher your last name, so I won't do it. But you had those 3 guys who arguably are all first rounders, so okay, it kind of makes a bit more sense. Though last season, not this past season, but in 2020, during their playoff run, he legit doubled he doubled his statistics for the prior 6 games through 2 games, and kind of showed, hey guys, I can be a legit receiving threat. I can't do that. It's just, as a receiver, he's not explosive. He's not explosive off the line. He's not explosive out of his breaks. He's more of a guy that can find the sweet spot in a defense, in coverage, and take advantage of it. Now, his frame, his plus athleticism, his blocking ability, it's all very tempting. I think that's why he gets drafted, why I have him as the 3rd tight end. He has showcased ball skills in the red zone. So, like, I like this cat. I think he can be somewhere down the line a starting tight end, if not tight end 2, at least very early on in his career. And then at number 2, Isaiah Likely. I like Likely a lot, and he came in surprisingly measuring exactly how Coastal Carolina listed him up, which I thought he was going to come in sub 240, but he's at 241. 6'4", the dude's a phenomenal receiver. So much so that he even took snaps on the outside. He tacks the catch point well. He makes catches outside of his frame, which you love to see. After the catch, he's been money. His route running's is top notch. But 26 forced missed tackles on 126 receptions through his career. 26 of 44 uncontested catches. The dude's just going to be a mismatch nightmare if you want to line up a linebacker or safety on him. He has 4 this season, or at least no, since 20. What is it? Yeah, since 2020, he had 4 receptions that went for 60+ yards, with 1 being a 99-yarder. So that's kind of wild. If he's going to be a blocker, he needs to add bulk to his frame. He's not as a blocker, he's not a physicality ain't his game. Blocking's going to be concerned typically at Coastal Carolina because they kind of run that like kind of funky triple option-ish offense there, but typically they used him as a if he was blocking in motion, he was motioned over. He would be a guy that goes straight to the second level. So totally missing like these offense or defensive linemen, going to take on guys that are more closer to his size at linebacker and safety. So that is a concern, but there's no denying the type of weapon he can be. And then we all knew Trey McBride was going to be here at number 1. He came into the Senior Bowl measuring smaller than I thought he was. Like, I thought he was closer to 260. Turns out he's 249. So I was a bit surprised. But listen, this cat, he's a great run blocker. Probably the best all-around tight end in this draft in general. Good size, like good good speed. Like his launch speed is just insane. Not an explosive guy, not a dynamic athlete by any means, but he could take a guy over the top if need be. He runs actually a really good route tree there at Colorado State, as he was kind of the focal point of that offense. And he's a physical, powerful blocker with a nasty mentality that just shows up on tape and it shows up after the catch. He is a hammer looking for someone to nail. Sounds kind of dirty when I say it that way, but that's typically what he is, both like as a blocker and after the catch. Like he's a battering ram. Doesn't get ideal separation, but he does a good job of using that big frame, that big catch radius to kind of box out defenders. He went 28 of 51 on contested catches with only 6 career drops. So he's number 1. Let's go ahead. Let's get to the wide receivers in this class, starting with number 10. And I got David Bell. I know some people are going to be hooting and hollering. They want him higher. Honestly, like the first half of this, like I would say there's like 13 or 14 wide receivers that are all like, they're pretty darn good that I think are going to end up as day 2 or higher picks. But David Bell, man, my big gripe with him is his suddenness, his separation. Don't you even tell me to go watch that Iowa game where Matt Hankins couldn't handle the suddenness and separation of David Bell, when Matt Hankins might be one of the slowest corners in this class. Don't tell me. Don't you dare. Don't you go there, girlfriend. Don't you do it. So those are going to be the biggest concerns for him. But after that, it's like everything's great about him. His production, great. Like even like the route tree got a bit better as the season went along, just because typically like Purdue, they typically ask him, like they focus on, okay, underneath routes, screen, slant, maybe like a long or a long slant, somewhere where he can attack the middle of the field, because the guy's got great body control. He positions himself well to high point the football, attack the catch point. The guy has good ball skills. He's wonderful after the catch. This past season, he had 25 forced missed tackles, which led college football. This guy is going to be a great number 2, number 3 receiver. I don't know if he could ever be a top guy for an offense, but he will complement exceptionally well. At 6'2", 205, will he be a guy that could continue to win the catch point at the NFL? That's a question that some might ask. I think it's no problem. Again, it just comes in terms of what he, like his route tree had no nuance. He wasn't a separator. There's no suddenness to his game. It's like he's a running back when the ball is in his hands. So that's why I got him mid day 2. And then number 9, Jalen Tolbert out of South Alabama. He came to the Senior Bowl smaller than I thought, because he was listed at 6'3", comes in at 6'1", which you might be like, that's not all that big of a difference. Kind of is. Like his length is good, but he's known for high pointing the football and making catches away from his body. A lot of that is because of the quarterback play there at South Alabama. I'm looking at you, Jake Bentley. You bad. Not like good bad. You just bad. But I thought I like the catch radius. I thought he looked really solid. Like in 2020, he hauled in 12 of 15 targets on inaccurate throws of 10 plus yards. Like again, this guy makes catches away from his body. Could put on a bit more bulk so he can continue to be a good contested catcher, but this dude's got a great release at the line of scrimmage. The speed and acceleration are real nice. He's a guy that can win vertically, which is why he paired so well with, what was it? Was it Kawan Baker that played alongside him in 2020? I think it was. I think that was his name. I can't remember. But honestly, route running's a lot better than I thought it would be, because he did kind of work with a limited route tree at South Alabama. But no, the dude is good. Also, after the catch, 13 forced missed tackles, really solid this season. You worry about the level of competition I listed here after the Senior Bowl. I'm not so worried, though. It's not like he was facing the tippity top of the cornerback class, though he was facing kind of like that middle tier group, and he looked fairly good. Again, added mass is probably the one thing I'd like to see him get to that like 200, 205. But again, not being 6'3", I think it's fair to ask, can he still make those contested catches there? But I think he'll have no problem being this vertical to intermediate threat. So I got him listed here day 2, mid-day 2. And then Jahan Dotson, I can see the comment section already because they love them. Jahan Dotson, he's a good prospect. I like him a lot. I got a second-round grade on him. You know, I love the explosiveness. I love how shifty and sudden he is, whether it's him running a route or with the football in his hands. Because, like, he darn well looks like he's returning a punt or a kickoff, like, when the ball's in his hands. He has showcased legit ball skills. This isn't KJ Hamler, who didn't have ball skills at all. Like, legit, Dotson has some ball skills. He plays a lot more physical than you would expect from a guy that's 5'11", 284. The thing is, with that size, will that physicality still maintain? Will that be something that still translates to the NFL? That is a fair question to be had. Love the start-stop ability. I mean, honestly, watching him this year made me think he's a guy that could hang in the NFL. Like, I came into this season like, man, this just feels like KJ Hamler. I was like, man, this ain't KJ Hamler. You a fool. So I like Dotson. I do. I really do. Even if he's my 8th receiver. And then at 7, I got Sky Moore. Listen, if you checked out any of my redrafts, y'all know I love Deontay Johnson. For better or for worse. And Sky Moore, it's an easy comp to make as Deontay Johnson. How elusive he is with the football. I like his release. He's strong and quick. He is like a running back once he gets the ball in his hands. I mean, straight up, we could go look at Moore versus Power 5 competition. Like, he had no problem getting off the line of scrimmage, and he did leave the Michigan game a bit early but he did ended up hauling in 2 receptions for 22 yards. But he had no problem getting off the line there. And then he went on to just light up Pittsburgh for 10 receptions, 123 yards. He could have had a 39-yarder for a touchdown on a bomb. He was just, Caleb Elby just kind of like overthrew him a little bit. But, I misspelled Caleb in my notes. For shame. There we go. Anyway, this dude's slick and savvy as a route runner. He had no problem getting separation versus MAC competition. But though, when you did look at the Pittsburgh game, you could tell coverage was a bit tighter with the competition being a bit better. But this dude could make catches in traffic. He was 18 of 13 on contested catches. You worry about the size at 5'10", 195 and the catch radius. You know he's not a wide receiver 1. You just know he ain't. That ain't him. That's not what he does. But he is a guy that I think could be one of the better slot options in this class, and that could probably play a wide receiver 2 role. He can play on the outside, I believe. I think he's explosive at the top of routes. Good stop-start ability. I list here vertical route tree. It's there's not much nuance in his vertical route tree. A lot of what he was asked to do was underneath or towards the intermediate of the field. So we've only seen a few vertical routes from him. But 26 forced missed tackles. I said Bell led college football. I meant the Power 5. It was actually Moore who led college football in 26 forced missed tackles among receivers. So, yeah, he's a hot riser. I mentioned him in my guys to look out for. I mentioned him a month, 2 months ago in one of my videos as a guy that could be a hot riser during the off-season process. So, yeah, no, I think a lot more people are tuned in to Sky Moore now, and they kind of see him as this day 2 guy. And then at number 6, I got George Pickens, man. George Pickens, I like Pickens a lot. He used to be viewed as a potential first rounder before the injury. And it's a shame. Hopefully everything checks out well with the ACL. You might be like, what do you mean? It was like, okay, the guy returned this year, but he only played like 50 some snaps. He even had a limited role during their playoff run. So yes, that's something to be concerned about. He's got that prototypical X wide receiver size. You like the ball skills. Like, this guy's he's a competitor. He's so good at the catch point. He has a ton of highlight reel catches. Even for the limited time he played this year, he had a nice catch where he laid out, I think it was against Alabama. But 14 and 32 on contested catches. He had an average depth of target about 15 yards through his career. I love how he gets off the line of scrimmage. Though with the guy a bit bigger, separation kind of an issue, but where he wins is at the catch point. Where he wins is creating separation with his body. Dude's just good. After the catch, it's not so much a thing. That's why, like, early on in the draft process, or early on when I came out with my rankings before the season, I had David Bell higher than him because I was like, David Bell could make moves after the catch. He looks a bit more reliable at the catch point, but I don't know. I kind of lean towards Pickens a bit now, just because, like, again, you're not gonna question will size and length be an issue at the catch point. I don't think it will be. Obviously, we got the injury red flags. He had an upper body injury in 2020 against Kentucky. And then, obviously, the ACL injury during spring practice this past year. There were... This is stupid to bring up. But, I mean, I don't know. Some people might turn a grain of dirt into anthill with this. But there may or may not be character red flags. It says he was academically eligible in high school, and then there were rumors that he was actually potentially academically eligible in 2020, but there are real no actual sources, just a lot of rumors out there about that during the time. Nothing really resurfaced about that during Georgia. I would take that as a grain of salt and honestly put no stock in it whatsoever. Again, I'm more concerned about how he looks after the ACL and why Georgia limited him so much during their playoff run, during the most important part of the season. And then let's get into the first rounders. I got Chris Olave here at number 6. This dude is a big play waiting to happen. Very polished route runner, though. Everyone talks about his rockets. No one talks about him as a route runner. He's very polished in that regard. But again, what people like to talk about is, well, the dude does have rockets for feet. Since 2019, he has had a step or more of separation on 87% of his targets, which is the most during that time frame. When you look at it this year, he actually gets beat out by Garrett Wilson, who actually led college football both in, I think it was both in a step or more separation on underneath and intermediate routes. Garrett Wilson led college football. So while that wasn't the case this year for Olave did it since 2019. So the ball skills are solid. I would say more so he has reliable hands than actual ball skills. 4.9% drop rate. The dude's game just translates to the NFL. He's a separator. He's got speed. He runs a good route tree. Reliable hands. Big play waiting to happen when it comes to the vertical game. I really likes how he kind of like fluctuates his speed, kind of changes gears exceptionally well during the route. Dude's just good. My biggest knocks on him is going to be added mass to his body. This dude's not a contested catch guy. He just isn't. And what he can do after the catch. Not so much vertically, but this year he looked a bit better in that regard in terms of what he did after the catch, though it wasn't nearly as good as obviously the guys that I'm going to have ahead of him on this list. So add in after the catch, that's also something I'm a bit concerned there. I would prefer if it get to at least 195, my man. Just do it. 188, come on. Come on, man. All right, let's go ahead, talk about number 4, Jameson Williams. I know, 189. He needs to add mass to his frame as well. Injury, the ACL, people want to be like, well, he's going to miss the training camp. He won't be good to go for maybe the first month or 2 months of the season. Okay, go ahead and look at the short term if you want. And pass on a freaky player. Because he has elite speed. He has elite suddenness. Like, this guy's stop-start ability is next level, and I don't think anyone's matching it in this class. A lot of people kind of like just view him as a vertical target, but like, or vertical deep threat, but that ain't it, man. This dude's a route runner. He comes from Ohio State. He transferred from there. The guy is a much better route runner than people give him credit for. I like his now, I list release and physicality, but these are two separate things because how he releases off the line is a lot more with his shiftiness and his feet. And I list physicality in here because this dude's been a gunner on special teams. Like, he's left the game this year because of a targeting call. Like, this guy likes to get down the field and hit somebody. He actually also left the game after delivering a gnarly hit. I forgot what game it was, but because he got hurt. So it was like, and it wasn't the ACL that happened with this, but it's like, this guy can offer special teams too, though I don't think you'd want him to do that just because of how good he is as a receiver. I like that. I like that little bit of nasty in his game. It's nice. It's nice. It's nice. Him and Olave will be like the deep threats in this class, but I give the nod to Williams. I still consider him a top 20 prospect. How he had 9 forced missed tackles on the year. How he makes people miss is, again, with that shiftiness, man. It's hard to keep up or keep track of him. Then number 3, Drake London. I love me Drake London. The broken ankle, hopefully everything checks out well with that of the combine. He's able to participate. But in terms of the recovery, it should have him available for the combine. So hopefully everything's gone positive in terms of that recovery. But he's a former 4-star recruit who was rumored to be a fast 40 guy. I don't think that's the case. He just doesn't have speed like that, at least from what I've seen. He looks to be more of a 4-5 guy. I think that's where he's going to test out. But he is a smooth athlete. This guy has displayed good suddenness and quickness as a route runner. People sleep on his route running ability. And he has an insane catch radius to just give quarterbacks garage doors of windows. Like a garage door instead of a window to throw into. He primarily worked out of the slot in 2019 and 2020, but in 2021 he showed, hey, I can do this outside wide receiver thing just fine. You love the size, you love the ability to create after the catch. He led all of college football, or at least he did at the time. Before he went down with the injury, he had like 22 or 23 forced missed tackles. That was only over 8 games. He was 19 to 28 on contested catches, which those 19 contested catches led all of college football despite missing the last 4 to 5 games of the season. Like, this guy's more than a jump ball guy. Like, I like the comp people say of Brandon Marshall. I feel like that's just stupid accurate. This guy, I just love this cat, man. I like him a lot. Again, I'm a sucker. For me, I'm a sucker for guys after the catch. That's just me. Like, I'm a sucker for guys that can create after contact. So, yeah. We got him here. And then, at number 2, I got Garrett Wilson. That's right. I have number 1 because I expect a big combine from number 1. But Garrett Wilson, man, he is stupid good. I love the shiftiness, the suddenness during the route. He can get a little bit bouncy or dancy or however the hell you want to call it. Get a little too fancy when running routes, and it knocks off the timing. And it just takes too long. Like, dude, just go run your route, man. You got good moves. What are you doing here? What are you doing here shuffling your feet? Like, just go. But the route running's great. Again, Ohio State, they make polished route runners. That's just their thing. He's a former 5-star recruit. I kind of already mentioned how much separation he got underneath and at the intermediate part of the field. I don't know why I was blanking on what the middle of the field was called. But I love this dude after the catch. He's one of the better after the catch targets. He did go for, like, on contested catches, he went 8 of 13, but you want to see him add a little bit more mass, add a little bit more bulk, because there are questions about his play strength. Drops were an issue at the beginning of the year, where he had 4 through the first 2 games, and then after that he had 2 drops for the remainder of the year. So typically this is a guy with reliable hands through his career. I don't know what happened with those first 2 games. Maybe it was just a fluke. But I got him at number 2 as a top 15 prospect. Treylon Burks, I'm listing him as top 10. I think he could sneak it in the top 10. If you notice, I've been mocking him in the top 10 to the Jets, but though that's a really good fit. This guy's speed, size, and physicality, just that combination of tools is just freaky, man. Like, this dude's gonna test out, like, listen to all the comps like people have come up with him. Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Chase Claypool, AJ Brown. If I were to go with one of those comps, I would say he is a less polished AJ Brown. That's the one I would probably go with. But Burks has just been freaking wonderful. Just got to make a quick adjustment. I just hate it when I see, like, grammatical errors in my notes, because this is the same stuff y'all pull from if you're on the Patreon. And it's just like, man, they're going to read this and think I'm stupid. Or at least English wasn't my first language. It was. It's my only language. I know bits and pieces of French, Spanish, and Korean, and a little Japanese. But I can never hold a conversation in those languages. Anyway, this is the concern. He primarily took snaps out of the slot. And you might be like, if you were following me for a long time, you'd be like, did you have that gripe with Justin Jefferson? That looked like it happened. It looked like he was just fine. Well, to be fair, the prior season with Justin Jefferson, he actually worked mostly on the outside. But when it comes to Burks, he's not as good of I don't want to say not as good as a route runner. He doesn't have that nuance in terms of his route tree. This guy was running screens, slants, and goes primarily there at Arkansas, and you kind of worry about that. It's not like he's got great explosiveness off the line. Like, it takes him about a couple of steps before he really gets going. It's kind of like a train in that regard, I guess you could say. But 15 forced missed tackles, love it. 7 of 16 on contested catches. I really think this guy's AJ Brown, just less nuance in his route running and route tree. Like, for a team like the Jets, I think he's just, you could use this guy in all kinds of ways. Like, Deebo Samuel might be a good comp. I can't wait to see this guy test out. Everyone's already saying he's going to test out with like a 4.38 in the 40. That's ridiculous. So, yeah, you're number 1. Hopefully everything works out. We're going to revisit these rankings after the combine, where we get even more information. So, but that's it for the video. Go ahead and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know why guys like Wan'Dale Robinson and Christian Watson, Khalil Shakir, Alec Pierce, John Mechie, Justin Ross. Tell me why those guys deserve to be in the top 10. Because I know I'm going to see it. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.